Electronic Payment Systems, EPS, located in Denver, Colorado, is one of the nation's oldest, largest, privately held merchant service providers, delivering the most cost-effective, innovative, and technologically advanced business solutions available. In this video, we will be introducing you to basic terminology and concepts regarding credit cards and merchant processing. I encourage you to take notes and follow along. Credit card processing is the electronic authorization, capture, and deposit of credit and debit card transactions. Merchant is defined as any entity that accepts payment cards bearing the logos of Visa, MasterCard, debit cards, Discover, American Express, and Mobile Wallet as payment for goods and/or services. Credit card terminal is a standalone piece of equipment that allows a merchant to swipe, insert, and key enter or tap and pay a certain credit card's information to process a credit card transaction. The transaction is stored, processed, then deposited to the merchant's bank. Point-of-sale POS system refers to the hardware and software used for checkouts and is essentially the equivalent of an electronic cash register. POS systems also have integrated features that manage various aspects of the sales process, including inventory control, accounting, etc. Credit and debit cards are often processed using an integrated terminal within the POS system. Most POS systems are not limited to a specific processor and typically have a separate software component that acts as the processing terminal. This separate software allows a processor to reprogram this software while not affecting the other functions of the POS system. Payment gateway. Online payments are made thousands of times a second all over the world. A payment gateway allows connection directly between a website and a bank, meaning that payments can be placed directly on a website and deposited straight into a bank account. A payment gateway is a server dedicated to linking websites and banks so that online credit transactions can be completed in real time. Merchants can use a dashboard login to access their gateway, and they manually key in the credit card number, name, expiration, etc. EMV chip card. For starters, EMV stands for EuroPay, MasterCard, and Visa, which set out to create worldwide standardized protocols for so-called integrated circuit cards and the hardware necessary to accept these cards. This was no easy task, but by 2005, almost a darn decade ago, chip cards became status quo in the EU. By 2012, Canada also joined in on the EMV party. These cards are manufactured with a small integrated circuit or chip in the card. Payment data is read from this chip instead of from the magnetic strip. This protects against fraud in two ways. First, the chip itself is more difficult and expensive to counterfeit. Second, the way the data is transmitted varies each time it is read, making it dynamic instead of static. Thus, while info from a magnetic stripe can be skimmed easily, chip information is much more complicated to glean. Starting in October 2015, the merchant and their processing company will be liable for any counterfeit smart card transactions. This is what they call a liability shift. Since having the EMV terminal could have theoretically prevented the fraud, the liability is now on acquirers and merchants. Mobile wallet. Mobile wallets are essentially digital versions of traditional wallets that someone would carry in their pocket. While there are many variations, usually they can hold digital information about credit and debit cards for making payments, store coupons, and loyalty programs, specific information about personal identity, and more. A customer can utilize all of their stored information simply by opening an app on their phone, entering a PIN, password, or fingerprint, then selecting the information they need to access. The app then utilizes information transfer technology such as near-field communications, NFC, to interact with the mobile wallet-ready payment terminals. Types of cards. Since the inception of credit cards, many different types of cards have been added. There are now consumer cards, corporate cards, smart cards, mobile wallets, check cards, stored value cards, and a variety of other payment methods that are accepted as alternative forms of payment to cash. Visa cards, a product of Visa USA, are distributed by financial institutions around the world. A Visa card holder is issued a card that is tied to a line of credit at a bank. MasterCard, a product of MasterCard International, is also distributed by financial institutions around the world. Like Visa, a MasterCard cardholder borrows money against a credit line and repays those funds with interest if the balance is carried over from month to month. American Express. The original American Express cards were intended for T&E, travel and entertainment use, and were predominantly used by companies for business purposes. Since American Express issues their card through their own bank, they are not considered to be a true bank card. Discover began as a division of Sears, Roebuck and Company. Discover allows a balance to be carried from month to month against an established line of credit. Interest, monthly, and annual fees may be charged to the cardholder. Other card types. Reward cards are typically tied to points or incentives earned to be redeemed by or for certain retailers' product or service. Example, airline miles. Corporate cards are issued in the name of the business for use by its employees. The card will have both the name of the company and the user embossed on the front. Corporate cards also include a category referred to as purchasing cards. Purchasing cards can be set up so that they are accepted only for certain types of businesses, allowing the company to have control over how the cards are used by employees. Debit cards allow a purchase amount to be deducted directly from the cardholder's checking or savings account. Therefore, the availability of funds is determined by the balance in that account. There are two types of debit cards. 1. ATM cards are issued to customers of a financial institution for access to their account at an automatic teller machine. A true ATM card does not have to have the MasterCard or Visa logo on it, but will have the name or logo of the financial institution and one of the ATM networks, Cirrus or Plus, and one of the debit networks, Maestro or Interlink. Check cards are issued to the customers of a financial institution, and in addition to having the bank logo, ATM network, and debit network logo, will also have a MasterCard or Visa logo on the front. It can be issued in addition to or instead of an ATM card. The check card allows the customer to all of the functions previously listed for an ATM card, and also allows the card to be used by any merchant who accepts MasterCard or Visa. Check cards can be used at a merchant's location in one of two ways. Online, PIN-based transactions require the use of a PIN pad in conjunction with a terminal. The PIN pad allows the cardholder to enter their 4-digit PIN, personal identification number, as the indication that they are the authorized user of the card. The transaction is processed through either a regional or national debit network. No signature is required from the cardholder, but the card must be swiped through a magnetic stripe reader. Offline, signature-based transactions occur through a terminal at the merchant's location. The cardholder must sign the sales draft indicating authorized use of the card. The 3-tier is the most common pricing method for most merchants. In 3-tier pricing, the processor groups transactions into 3 categories, tiers, and assigns a rate to each tier based on the established criteria. Qualified rate is the percentage a merchant is charged whenever they accept a regular consumer credit or debit card and process it in a manner defined as standard by their processor. For example, a retail classified merchant, only swipe or insert transactions are defined as qualified. Mid-qualified rate, also known as a partially qualified rate. The mid-qualified rate is a percentage the merchant will be charged whenever the credit card they accept does not qualify for the lowest rate. A mid-qualified rate can cost a merchant more than 1% above the qualified rate. This may happen for several reasons, such as A consumer credit or debit card is keyed into the credit card terminal instead of being swiped or inserted. An enhanced type of credit card is used like a rewards card. Non-qualified rate is usually the highest percentage a merchant will be charged when accepting a card. In most cases, all transactions that are not qualified or mid-qualified will downgrade to this rate. This can happen for several reasons. A consumer card or debit card is keyed into a terminal and address verification is not performed. An enhanced credit card is used like a rewards or corporate card, and all required fields are not entered. A merchant does not settle their daily batch within the allotted time frame, usually 48 hours from the time of the authorization. Interchange cost plus pricing is based on the interchange tables published by Visa and MasterCard. A varying degree of markup is added by the processor to cover other real costs associated with maintaining the merchant's account. Example, interchange plus 1.5%. Other fees. Authorization fee, charged each time a transaction is sent to the card issuing bank of the cardholder for authorization approval. Statement fee, fee associated with monthly statement that is sent to the merchant each month detailing how much processing was done and what fees were incurred as a result. Monthly minimum. The monthly minimum is a way to ensure that merchants pay a minimum amount of fees to their processor to cover the cost of maintaining the account. The fee is only charged to the merchant if the processing fees do not equal the minimum monthly amount, typically $25. Annual fee, fee sometimes charged by processors to cover the cost of maintaining the merchant's account. Early termination fee, fee charged to the merchant if the merchant cancels the contract before the end of the contract term. Though these fees vary, most processors charge a flat fee, averaging $195 to $295. Batch fee. The batch fee, also known as a batch header fee, can be charged to a merchant whenever a merchant settles their terminal. Settling a terminal, also known as batching, is the process of merchants sending their completed transactions for the day for payment and deposits to their merchant bank. Customer service fee, also known as maintenance fee, can be charged by some providers monthly to help cover the cost of their customer service. A basis point is a unit relating to interest rates that are equal to 1/100th of a percentage point. Examples: a rate change from 1.65% to 1.85% reflects a change of 0.2 of a percentage point or 20 basis points. A rate change from 2.75% to 3.25% reflects a change of 0.5 of a percentage point or 50 basis points. If a merchant is charged 10 basis points, or 0.1 of a percentage point, on a total credit card volume of $45,000, their related fees would be $45. If a merchant is charged 30 basis points, or 0.3 of a percentage point, on a total credit card volume of $45,000, their related fees would be $135. Chargeback is a return of funds from the merchant to a consumer forcibly initiated by the consumer's issuing bank. A chargeback can result due to various reasons including expired authorization, non-sufficient funds, or bank processing error, duplicate billing, incorrect bill amount or refund never issued, consumer claims never to receive the goods or services promised at the time of purchase, consumer claims they did not authorize the purchase, or identity theft. A fraudulent transaction is one of the most common reasons for a chargeback. A merchant is often responsible for fraudulent charges imposed on the customer. Most fraudulent card transactions originate with criminals who gain access to card data and then set up schemes to exploit that data. A chargeback is the greatest risk posed to merchant service providers, and therefore the industry's greatest fear. This is not to be confused with a refund, which simply consists of a merchant refunding a transaction.